morning, everyone. A lot of people in the back there. I've been buying technology for the last 20 years, and I can honestly tell you, I have never been more excited about the technological advance that is generative AI and large language models. This is a once-in-a-generation technology advancement that is going to change the way we work. The future of work has arrived. We don't know what it means for us yet, but I'm going to try and imagine what it might be for procurement today in the 8 minutes that I've got left. So what is so special about generative AI? I mean, I think for a lot of people that's an unknown. For me, there's three things that make it unique and different. The first thing is that it's a generalized technology. And what I mean by that is that it's got multiple use cases. There are many, many, many ways, millions if not billions of ways, that we will be able to use large language models and generative AI in the years to come. So if you think about other generalized technologies in the past, the diesel engine, the PC, the smartphone, all of those, when they were invented, our imaginations couldn't see what they would become in our lives. The second thing that's really interesting about generative AI is that it can generate its own content. It can generate images. It can generate text. It can generate music. That's new. When the machine can come up with its own creative solutions, what do we humans do? What is our role? That's new, and it's going to be very exciting. And the third thing that I think is special is that it's so easy to use. Is there anyone here who hasn't used ChatGPT? It was released in November last year. In the first 5 days, it gathered more than 1 million users. Fastest uptake of technology ever. And that's what's going to happen. It's going to move very, very fast. We will see an evolution curve for this technology adoption that we've not seen its like before. So we've got to ask ourselves, what does this mean for us in work? Well, Goldman Sachs and a lot of others have done some predictions, but the Goldman Sachs article came out in March this year, so it's pretty relevant. I would urge you to read it if you haven't. They predict that by the turn of the decade, 300 million jobs are at risk of automation by artificial intelligence. 300 million. In addition, 2/3 of all the job classes that are out there today potentially get automated, at least in part, by artificial intelligence. So that's a huge amount of change that's going to happen in the next 6 years. And what I'm going to try and think about today is what that means for us as procurement. What is it that we do? And I think fundamentally we do 5 different things. 80% of those things are going to be substantially disrupted, changed, transformed, and automated by artificial intelligence. Let me elaborate. So the first thing we do is we find suppliers. Now, we all know what we should be doing is doing the full market intelligence survey, looking across the market for suppliers that we've not heard about, coming to conferences like DPW. But most of us are pushed for time. So what do we do instead? We use the incumbent and roll that over. Top right-hand side of the Gartner quadrant, potentially. Or maybe the list of suppliers that our business stakeholders have given us to use. So we take the shortcut. And often that's a suboptimal outcome. What artificial intelligence can do is ingest vast amounts of data about your suppliers, your supply base from your contracts, ingest market information, and can serve up to you as a recommendation using its generative powers from a generative AI perspective to give you suggestions of suppliers you might not have thought about that will uniquely deal with the business problem that you are trying to solve. So that's an exciting prospective development and use case. From finding suppliers, we then go on to the choosing process, typically called the RFP process or the sourcing process. When we find suppliers and put them on the list, what we should be doing is a sourcing strategy. Again, the summarization and synthesization capabilities of generative AI will allow them to draft that sourcing strategy for you. The what-if scenarios, option A, option B. It can also come up with the selection criteria. Right now, a lot of us use generic criteria to select whatever it is we're buying, whether it's goods or services. What happens if you could come up with some customized criteria that were specific to the risks and opportunities associated with what you were buying? Well, artificial intelligence can give that to you. customized to this particular purchase of services or goods. The other things that it could do for you is come up with your negotiation strategy, the contents of what you should be doing, the arbitrage that you should be taking advantage of between your contracts, the best contract clause, the best warranty clause, the best pricing clauses, and the worst one. So it could generate the RFP document for you. It could generate a draft contract for you. That's a highly customized sourcing opportunity. I think that's a little bit down the ways, but I can see that that's a use case that will come. Then once we've selected and we've decided who we're going to be working with, we go into the haggle. We go into the negotiation process. Going back to what I just said right now, think about the opportunities of having that negotiation strategy using external data like market dynamics, merger and acquisition activity for the supplier that you're busy dealing with, changes in leadership. Bring that all into a negotiation strategy, and then looking at your previous supplier interactions with that particular supplier if you have a previous relationship. It can then recommend what you might want to use as tactics or strategies to get a great deal. Of course, your counterpart is probably also going to be using the same tool set, so I don't think it's going to materially change the outcome of the negotiation, but it certainly will enrich what the inputs are in a way that is not currently the case. And then finally, we've got to manage contracts, and I was speaking a little bit earlier to some of the folks here. Contract management, I think, is going to be an early use case. I think that's probably the area where we're going to see some of the most advanced outcomes quickest. Because right now, we should be managing our full contract database of 25,000 suppliers, for example. But let's be honest, we mostly focus on our top 10 or our top 20. Large language models can ingest the KPIs, the SLAs, the contract clauses, the performance data that you need into a system for all 25,000 suppliers, and then give you recommendations of the opportunities that you might have for continuous improvement, managing performance, managing SLAs, managing KPIs. This warranty is worse than that warranty. Why not renegotiate the warranty clause? You're paying more in Australia than you're paying in Switzerland. Why don't you renegotiate the price? Those are the recommendations that AI, through its generative capabilities, will start to give us. So if you're a business user and all four of these areas can be done better by the machine than it can be done by your current procurement function, why would you have procurement? And that's a good question. And I think that's the fifth thing that we do, which is relationship management. The one thing the machine cannot do better than us is manage relationships. It has no code, it has no context, it doesn't understand what it's doing. As Noam Chomsky reminds us, generative AI's problem is that it can confidently say to us, the earth is round and the earth is flat at the same time. We as humans know the difference, and we can make the choice from those scenarios based on our knowledge. So I've got two pieces of advice. Think about knowledge in an organization as a pyramid. At the base is data. Above that is analysis. Data is no good without analysis, and above analysis is insights. We need to be able to act on the insights from that data due to the analysis. Artificial intelligence and large language models will do that better than we can ever do it. But the next layer of the pyramid is knowledge and then wisdom. And that is where we as procurement practitioners are uniquely positioned to transform the function. So my two pieces of advice are understand what's happening in the bottom three layers and dial up your humanity, your ability to collaborate, your ability to see the context and apply that context to your business and your business problems. I'm going to go out with another prediction. 50% of the vendors in this conference will not be here by the turn of the decade. They will not be able to move fast enough or adopt quickly enough. But I'm hoping that the other 50% are working on the very use cases that I outlined today. And your job is to figure out what those technologies can mean for the future of procurement and dialing up the human element that the machine can never take away from you. That's my thoughts. Good luck.